Yo, this is somebody I didn't expect to see on my timeline today, bro. We got Sneako in the building, bro. I'm still subscribed. I haven't watched Sneako in years. Like, the last time I was actually watching, like legitimately watching Sneako was before that moment when he was like filming inside that store and that girl got upset and then he left the store and then she came outside and he unblurred her face because she was in the public. Like, that whole fiasco, like, sent Sneako's like trajectory to a whole nother dimension, bro. Cause I swear at one point in time I was watching Sneako video after Sneako video when he was like talking to people and doing interviews in public and asking people hard questions. I was like, yo, this is amazing. And then all that drama just like, bro, took bro to Andrew Tate, took him to Penguin Zero, took him to showing guns, and then people's family got involved. Bro, it was a whole bunch of crazy shit, bro. I'm telling you, bro, and I got to witness all of it, which is insane, but that is the insanity of life. So now we're here to check out Sneako Rat Race. And let's go ahead and just see and talk about whatever OG got to talk about, because bro's been on the platform for a minute. He got unbanned, so might as well see what he got to say. Also, I saw his comment. This is like a re-upload, so this is a 3-year-old video. Might as well check it out anyway. Let's go.
I'm spending the final days of my early 20s traveling the world trying to find the ideal place to raise a family. The original plan
Thailand
was keep being a degenerate until I'm 30 before kneeling on a prayer mat, but you can't procrastinate truth forever. You can't ignore how most 20-somethings are currently parading in the streets celebrating the deadliest sin with rainbows. Most of them don't even want to have children for illegitimate reasons ranging from climate change to feminism. And even though
yeah, climate change is something, bro. I would say most people don't want to have kids because this economy, bro. It's the economy, which is legit, bro. It's kind of hard out here, but you can still have a kid, to be honest. Like, having a kid is one of those things. It's like you can try and prepare for it all you want, but bro, there's people out here literally like they struggling and they still have a kid because they have like the survival mindset. You know, they try and have kids, and hopefully those kids can help them work and get the family out of poverty or whatnot. You know, good luck to them. But yeah, if you thinking about having a kid, definitely make sure you got the right partner with you, because that'll make it like that is what will make it work or not make it work. Good luck.
buy a house in the middle of nowhere Spain, I see this search as the highest act of resistance.
People throw the term selling out a lot. And I believe that if you accept a dead-end fucking job to pay your bills, you're selling out. Those conversations you have when you're 40 about what could have been, should have been.
10 years of making videos has defined most of my conscious life. Now I'm forced to create goals that are attainable for the next 10 years. I accomplished everything I had planned at 14. Right now,
bro, I feel that shit for sure.
It's a defining moment in life where I can either coast off the dopamine of success, spending money on drugs and casual sex, or start from a new zero.
You only live once, and no matter what rap lyrics will tell you, that doesn't mean getting hammered out of your mind every Friday.
We both know the correct decision, but people need a constant reminder. These worldly temptations were outlined for 2 hours straight by a sheikh that I met in Madrid. In that masjid, he slowly explained in broken English and French how drugs, sex, and filth is fun, but more important than health, it's corrupting your soul. Of course I want to be a degenerate, enjoy the fruits of my labor. I fantasize all the time about a month directly after Ramadan called Haramadan, where you can just indulge in degeneracy for 30 days straight. But that temptation is strong, but the happiness is fleeting. The highest form of human achievement is inspiration. Clearly defining your purpose and working towards accomplishing it is the only way that men can escape suicide.
Seeing people on TV...
You know, it's interesting. I understand this philosophy, but I also understand that there is no such thing as having enough, because whenever you have these goal-oriented drives, and they're amazing for sure, if anything, it's more of the journey. So like if you want to get into investing, you know, start from $0 and then you work your way up to 10, 20, 100, 1,000, so on and so forth. Right? It's more about the journey than actually hitting that mark of you got that amount of money. And for sure, it's going to feel amazing when you hit that mark, when you hit that goal. It's going to feel like the greatest thing. And then eventually it'll subside, and then you say, time for another goal, time to do something else. Because after you climb the mountain, there's just another mountain peak. And there's been many either religious books, philosophies, or whatever to help you, you know, move through life, to say that goals are absolutely amazing and they help you out, but achieving the goals isn't the end all be all to just living a good life, I guess, or living a life that has you feel fulfilled. But keep going, Sneako. Let's hear this philosophy, bro.
Making something out of their lives, while I'm filing reports for a corporation I despise would kill me.
It took me a decade to learn the very simple truth they cannot teach in school. The world is run by satanic billionaires, and as long as we're controlled, we're underneath their spell.
Bro, he's telling
Almost
the truth.
all people fit into one of two groups. One side will mutilate their children to fit a gender ideology, and the other gets vasectomies to have meaningless sex forever. But
Damn.
both sides don't realize they're conforming to ideas they would have never had by following God. Everyone is coping and adjusting to the evil that rules over us. There's enough resources for everyone to be happy.
Sure.
There's enough love, enough empathy.
There is.
But greed corrupts the human spirit.
Absolutely.
Without greed, we have everything we need. Greed has 0.1% of the population in a chokehold that 99.9% can't even comprehend. Today marks a decade since I started my YouTube channel called Sneako, and it's because of that greed that I don't have my channel to celebrate it. The greed that has the pharmaceutical companies keeping us sick. That greed that rigs elections so they maintain control. Those 10 years define an internal struggle that every person can relate to. Visually, it's defined by a rat in a maze. Like everyone, you start the maze looking for a way out, but whoever set it up put up traps with poisonous cheese. Even when the rat discovers the cheese is poisonous because there's carcasses laying all around, it still chooses to eat it from any reason ranging from finances to mental health. When I started the maze playing video games, I had learned freedom of expression. In that time of life where you're free from responsibility, but held back by fear of judgment. Just insecure enough to find your voice in secret. Then adolescence hit and set the existential dread that defines most people. What are you going to do for the rest of your life? How much of my true self can I compromise to pay the bills and simultaneously maintain sanity? This is where most people choose the comfort zone in life. When the rat decides to eat the cheese because it tastes good enough to ignore the poison. Then my early 20s was a spiritual battle that forced me to ask a question that we've all had to answer.
Let me hear.
How do I find happiness now that I'm aware of this maze? The rat's not supposed to know where it really is. The maze doesn't even have an exit. It was designed purely for someone's entertainment. Now the rat can frantically run around forever or die slowly nibbling the cheese. The rat can go back to the entrance, but there's no way out. The only actual way to get out is mentally.
Free your mind. So yeah, let's expand on this. So he's talking about a rat in a maze. Let's say you are the rat in that maze. You legitimately are stuck inside the maze. You are the rat. You either eat the cheese or you don't eat the cheese, and it's designed for somebody else's entertainment. The only thing that you could do in this manner, if you were to look at it from a Buddhist perspective, would to be sit in the maze, is to sit and just meditate inside the maze. And it's not the most amazing thing, but when Sneako says it's in your mind, the way to escape is in your mind. It's absolutely true. The only way to escape the game, because the game has been rigged from the start, you would need to have a new game, and you can't really have a new game when this game is working so well for the people that are winning. Did you guys see what happened to Bitcoin recently? Yeah, if you haven't seen it, basically it nosedived off a cliff, but before it did that, a whole bunch of people sold basically bonds that were gonna say, hey, Bitcoin is gonna lose. And down to the second when Bitcoin started losing, somebody put in $80 million and they received 100 million back. That's a pretty big expansion and something that happened in less than a second. As soon as the thing was made, boom, the money started coming in. The money started coming in, and none of us knew. The only people that knew, they were sitting in the White House. They were chilling. They were secretaries. They had some paperwork. They had the inside scoop. And you know what? Can you blame them? Because somebody was the one that was going to pull the trigger, but everybody else knew it was going to happen. So you could say they're complicit in it, for sure. But at the end of the day, the only way is not to try and beat them at their game. You're not going to beat them at their game. the only way to win, if you're gonna try and win, would to either join them or you just do your own thing. And doing your own thing requires you to basically become the black sheep. Everybody else, there's so many people out here that are so unaware, they're so in the delusion, they just do the same thing over and over again because they're expecting some type of different result, which is the definition of insanity. But they're not aware enough to realize that. And to that point, you know, you can, if you're aware enough to comprehend the conversation that we and you are having right now, you can try and explain this to somebody else and they won't get it, or they won't care, or it won't matter, or because they've been distracted so much, it doesn't fit anything. If you ever want to help somebody, you got to lead by example. That's the only way. When people start seeing that you're winning, when you're successful, or you're at peace, they want to know, how did you do that? How'd you get like that? And then when you tell them, that's when they make a choice. Either they join or they don't. I haven't had social media for over 6 months now. Maybe it's been less, maybe it's been more. Honestly, I don't know. I don't keep track of time. Time doesn't exist. It's an illusion. We only use it so we can, you know, stick with each other and keep up with each other, because a lot of people have schedules. They put themselves inside the box. They put themselves inside the game. And if anything, it's been coached to them by their parents because their parents were also inside the game. The only way to understand is to free your mind, is to go outside, is to listen to somebody that doesn't share the same perspective and opinion as you, understand where they're coming from, and then download it and put it inside your own memory bank, which is freeing your mind. So good luck to you guys. This was a really good video from Sneako. I miss these types of edits, and I love how he has his own philosophy. Like, I don't disagree with it. I just respect it as somebody that is on their own journey, doing their own thing, trying to figure it out their way. And it's cool that he's gone like the Muslim route. For me, the Muslim route doesn't really align. The Buddhist route has been more for me. The Hindu route has also been really nice. But there's many different routes you can take, and there's no one right way. If you think there's one right way, you have been led into a delusion, because a lot of them, they say the same thing, but there's some people that are inside your organization that are specifically trying to make everybody fight each other. And if anything, we're all just part of one stream of consciousness. So just like there's a good and there's a bad, there's a positive and a negative, these things are clashing. And they're clashing for your soul, for your time, for your attention, for everything. And it's easy to just forget that or ignore it because it's so big. It's such a big thing. That's why, you know, it's easier for you to go to church than to travel the world and actually try and find the stuff yourself. And sometimes you don't even have to travel the world. Again, you could just sit within your thoughts and you can find it within yourself. That is the blessing that God has given everybody, the ability to find God within yourself. But it just takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and not everybody has the time. And not a lot of people have the awareness to know that they have the ability to find it for themselves. So this was an amazing video, and maybe it'll help some people. Maybe this reaction would also help some people as well. So if it helps you, hey, I hope it does. Or we could just go, go back to watching and playing games and, just look at dramas and whatnot. It's part of life, I guess. But I'm content where I'm at. I know everybody else is suffering. I do what I can to help, but I can't help everybody. So good luck to you guys on your journeys. This was a nice video. I'm excited to see what else Sneako drops. We all grow, we all learn. And hopefully Sneako was able to grow during his time away from YouTube. So yeah, till then, I'll see you guys when I see you guys, man. Enjoy. This was a great video, Sneako. Good job. I'd like to see more. And until next time, man, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.